Hello, and welcome to the Video Game Book Club. A book club where we read video game books. I'm Savvy.
I'm Elise.
And I guess also video game comics, because we are reading The Last of Us American Dreams.
The Last of Us trademarked American Dreams.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Last of Us TM American Dreams. There's three comics in the collection.
Four.
There's four?
Yeah,
okay.
It goes into four. And we have all four because they're pretty short.
They are pretty short. I got mine on the Overdrive app on my Kobo.
Ooh, it's colored.
It is colored. I have the Kobo Libra color. Ooh. And I bought it because I was also mad at Amazon for not allowing me to make PDFs. Because that is what I used to listen to audiobooks that didn't have audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these books that we read don't have audiobooks and I can't read. So I would download the book I would get the Kindle, I'd download it, and then I'd have like a computer read it to me. Mm-hmm. As you probably have heard if you listen to this podcast before.
There's the thing on the Kindle where you can have it read it to you, and I tried it once, and it was such an ordeal to get into it.
It was such an ordeal that I didn't want to deal with it.
I was like, we're not.
I had a process, and now it's broken because I can't do it anymore. So I decided to get out of the Kindle ecosystem. And I moved to Kobo. I made a post on Fable being like, should I get a Kobo? And everyone's like, you should get an e-reader, like a Kindle. And I was like, that's not my question.
You're like, I have one of those.
But the Libra color, because I wanted to get into annotations, but I'm afraid to write into a book because I don't like the idea of pinning a book up with it. But like,
I had to do it for work, and it took me a while to get into it, but now I'm fine. But it took definitely a couple books.
I can see it taking a while. I'm not there yet, so I got the Kobo Libra color.
That looks actually really nice. I like that look better than the
It has the little buttons on the side too. You can
it's
also tab it, like press it like a.
Does it come with a cover though?
It doesn't come with a cover. You have to buy that separately. You also have to buy the pen separately. I bought the pen separate so I could do little annotations.
Is it just any type of stylus that you need? Or is it a specific
I think you can use any type of stylus, but this
is not an ad, by the way. I'm curious about what
specifically the one that you buy, you can like erase at the back and you can highlight by holding down a button and then it'll highlight your stuff. I didn't highlight.
Is it like different colors and
It's different colors, yeah. You can pick different colors and then you can click a button to see just all of the stuff that you sketched on there. And it was really easy to put my library card on here and get my library books, and it is in color, so
yeah, that's
nice. I can now read my comics in color.
Yeah, because that was the thing about the Kindles, that unless you get the super duper expensive one, like they're all black and white. That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Do you want to tell a price tag or?
This was like $300.
Okay, that's not bad.
And so it's nice to be able to get library books like this, and I've been reading comics on it.
You go through the Libby app?
You go through Overdrive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how I get my...
It doesn't bombard you with ads like the Kindle does.
Yeah, true. Every time I'm like, oh no, I'm away from my screen. But yeah, I use Libby and I get ebooks.
You can also have notebooks, and there's like a daily planner. You could doodle in if you wanted to. So that's a Kobo. It's great. I love it a lot. I didn't have to buy this book. I just got it from the library.
Oh, that's nice. I did buy it, but it's the illustrations are okay.
They're cool. They're very, I think we said Scott Pilgrim-y.
Yes.
If you know what we're talking about. Which I actually...
And then the chapter covers are a little bit more...
I'm glad it's not like traditional comic book. Honestly, I kind of hate that style. Yeah. So this was nice.
Yeah, because this is The American Dreams. It is a prequel to the first game, and it says that in here.
Story takes place before the events of The Last of Us.
And it's written by Neil Druckmann and Faith Erin Hicks, who is also our illustrator. Rachel Rosenberg is also mentioned on the cover, but she is the colorist. And then cover and chapter break art is by Julian Totino Tedesco. Tedesco. And letters by Clem Robbins.
Yep.
Yes, we got all of them in there. And this is a Dark Horse book.
They usually are.
Yeah. To put you in the timeline, I did look up some stuff. So the original Last of Us game comes out June 14th of 2013.
Okay.
The comic that we just read came out a little over a month after that.
Okay.
And we see a little
This
bit
is before the DLC.
This is before the DLC, because the DLC didn't come out until February 14th of 2014.
Aw,
So
Valentine's Day.
And so this is not the DLC,
No.
because this takes place technically before the events you see of her in the DLC. And then when I first bought it and I was flipping through it, I asked Savi, I was like, this looks like the show. This reminds me of the part in the show. Mm-hmm. And then because we did the episodes of the show, I went back and listened to our episodes instead of rewatching the show. And I was like, oh no, I was wrong. There are like the rooftop scene is the same. But other than that, it's
like a combo of the DLC and this comic.
So you could see that Druckmann was like, hey, I like those things that I wrote and in the comic.
Things that I wrote already.
And so I'm going to put it in the show, but it falls more in line with the game than the show, because the show is really different in parts than the DLC. And then the reason why we chose this book is because season 2 of The Last of Us, the television show on HBO,
it's coming out soon.
Comes out April 13th.
April 13th. And are we going to be watching it? Let's ask Elise.
I will.
Was too scarred by The Last of Us Part 2 to want to watch it, so
I am a big Naughty Dog fan. I did like the first Last of Us. Uncharted is my jam. I played The Last of Us 2. It gave me nightmares and was really heavy in some of the stuff. So I don't know if I want to relive that. So we'll have to see if the show
will watch the first episode
is a little bit kinder to me.
And then we'll see.
Yeah, but we're definitely watching the first episode, and we will report back on that.
I love Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, we did all play all that kind of stuff.
The Last of Us, I haven't played Part 2 yet, but I will before, because it is coming out to PC, and I'm a PC gamer, what can I say? So I will try it, and I will see if I get nightmares. Anyway, comic time.
Yeah, it was intense. Did you enjoy this comic?
It was fine.
Did you play the DLC?
No.
Did you finish The Last of Us?
Yes. We finished it together, and then you went rogue, and you played it alone.
Yeah. I've played through The Last of Us probably about 4 times. Maybe 5.
So
I'm missing one freaking joke thing for my platinum trophy, because one of the trophies is Ellie's joke, and I keep missing the part where you have to do it. It's like right before the bus. So I might have to play it again too. Because I'm a trophy hunter, so.
Still?
Yeah. I just finished Veilguard, and I'm missing 3 trophies for that, so I might have to play it a second time.
Yeah, I think that's a 2 player, 2 times, 2 run-throughs type of game.
Yeah.
So I guess.
What'd you think?
I was fine. It was fine. I'm not a super big Last of Us fan, to be honest.
It was zero information.
It was fine. It was kind of like, I don't know, it didn't tell you anything. It was just, it's just like to tide you over before the DLC. It feels like that's what this was for.
It was like a teaser?
Yeah, a little teaser of Ellie and what's her name's relationship.
Riley. So you gave it a 4. I gave it a 3 because I felt like it gave zero information, except for it shows us how Ellie and Riley meet, and that's it.
I liked
and Marlene, I guess,
the new character that I met. And we're gonna see him in the mall. I like Old Man Roberts Winston. With the horse. Yeah. That was pretty fun. As far as comics are hard to rate, because I'm like, usually when I read a comic, I'm like, yeah,
yeah, the art was nice. I like the art. I just felt like there was not a whole lot of information, but I did like, and we'll get into it, Marlene and Riley, the conversation in part 4.
I actually liked that. That was pretty good.
And Riley and Rusty over here thought it was boring so much that he's snoring. So.
Stop snoring. Stop it.
So, yeah,
if you want to be a part of this podcast, you got to be quiet.
Here's some heavy breathing, some snores.
My editing for this is rough. I have to go through so much to edit out your snoring. You have to stop.
Are you ready to dive into some Last of Us? So that way you don't have to read the comic, or if you did, it's a refresher. Because, again, it's like non-information.
Doesn't really matter.
You don't really need any of this.
Not important.
Not
important.
A
little bit of fluff for you.
Yeah. So this story takes place before the events of the game The Last of Us, and it starts with Ellie listening to her Walkman on the bus.
Yeah, and she's watching some guy get searched and
Mhm.
then shot.
I do have to say there was a couple of things on here that flipping back through, and because I read it all just straight, and then I was taking notes, and I was like, oh, that's what happened. Yeah,
So they were searching a guy and they found something on his person, and then they shot a gun, I think, is what they pulled out here. And then they just shot him, and Ellie's like, oop, I pretend I do not see. And
don't look.
Shrinks. She's on a bus.
Yeah, she's going to the military school that she's talks about in the game, and that is in the episode on the show where she's like running around with her Walkman. She gets off the bus, and the main person who they don't even name, he's like, "You're on your own, kid."
Yeah,
like how she's like, "Take me with you," and he's like,
again.
"I have a family." And right away she gets smacked because some kind of loserish kid wants her stuff, so he like punches her, and they hold her back, and then someone steps in, and that is Riley. And Riley again is in the DLC. She's in the explanation of how Ellie gets infected. They're friends, and then a little bit more than friends. So she steps in, she punches the guy, and of course it's like attitude. I was fine without you. I didn't need you.
Saved her Walkman's life there.
Yeah, but then she steals it.
Yeah, she does.
She totally swipes it.
Now she's got to go to the principal's office. Ellie does, because she's in trouble for starting a fight, being in a fight, just being a victim in a fight, I guess. Fighting, theft, running away, fighting, disobeying orders.
She's got a huge cumulative folder. Discipline. And then she, of course, it's the scared straight. Like, do you know what stands between the hordes of infected and all the straggling living in this city? Ellie says, a giant concrete wall. Me! And every other soldier who puts his life on the line for you people. We keep order that saves lives. Every goddamn human being in the world would be infected if it wasn't for us.
Then they talk about protecting them from the renegade group. But this is where we learn about the Fireflies. I mean, I guess you probably already know. I'm assuming you've played The Last of Us before reading this comic, but I guess if you didn't, they're like, we're the only ones protecting you from this renegade group. And Ellie's like, the Fireflies? And then he's like, yes, the whole city likes them, but us.
Yeah, they're considered like a terrorist group because they fight the soldiers who, as we just saw, at the beginning, shot a man for having something. They also trade in ration cards. They go outside of the city and all that stuff. So
I mean, he's like, do you think they're cool? And she's like, no, I don't think about them at all. And he's like, well, you should.
And so he makes her clean his truck. Or someone's truck, and it's full of blood and fingers because a soldier got his finger shot off. And that's when she finds out her Walkman was stolen. She's so pissed about that.
And she sees a finger stuck in the door of a car. R.I.P.
And then it gives you this little flashback of these shoulders. These shoulders.
These shoulders dying.
Shooting, and then one is like, he looks like popped in the head, but his finger flies off into the door. I don't think she's worried about that. She's worried about her Walkman.
She's having a moment. She's like, oh my gosh, a finger. I bet that guy lost it in a firefight. Because how does she know that? Now they're in the mess hall, and she's about to confront Riley about her stolen Walkman.
Riley, who's carving up a table and is like the biggest fan of the Fireflies.
I mean, she just gives it to her back. She's like, give it to me back. She's like, what makes you think I have it? And he's like, I know you have it. She's like, you caught me.
Got me.
I have it. Here you go.
You have.
I listened to music, all your music.
I think this is a time where batteries are hard to come from.
She probably has only the songs that she can find too.
Yeah. Some cassettes, not like she's recording off the radio like back in the day. So what soundtrack do you think Ellie's listening to?
Requiem of a Dream.
Okay. Some like teeny bop, or you think she's listening to some like
the Jonas Brothers
scream music, or she hears a thump 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 and
someone leaving, so she follows.
What she keeps saying, I should stomp your fucking balls off, like over and over again. Like she's reliving the fight in her head or preparing for the next one.
Just her catchphrase, I guess. So she follows Riley. Riley's sneaking out. She's like, "What are you sneaking out? What you doing?" Tells her to fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "No."
But Riley knows Ellie's name, and she's like, "How do you know my name?" And then she decides to go with her. And now we're in chapter 2. And this is the rooftop scene that is pretty identical to what happens in the show. Because Riley has somewhere to go. She's looking for the fireflies. But we don't find that out until later. And they have the, do you ever think about your future?
Their moment.
Mm-hmm. Because kind of find out, when she turns 16, you get either relegated to being part of like the army, or you get a shit job like cleaning out the sewers.
Yeah, and I guess Riley's really afraid of getting that job, so.
And so Riley's about to turn 16, and that's why she's looking for the fireflies.
Then she's like, "Have you ever ridden a horse?" "No."
That's
"Follow
such a
me."
random thing in the apocalypse.
Imagine standing on a roof with somebody and somebody being like, "Have you ever ridden a horse?" "Well, follow me then." It's like, wait.
This is all at night. And they end up at the mall where she's like mocking this underwear model.
They see
mannequin.
an arcade. She's pretty excited about the arcade. They like have a moment where they see the arcade like alive.
I
and
like
stuff.
that. It was like Ellie sees it like as it was, and then 2 stills later you see there's a bunch of dead bodies there. Very imaginative.
Oh, she
That's good.
just
But
stares
she
off into
also-
the distance and thinks about like, how could these people have died? And then she just kind of goes.
But the weird thing about that is Ellie like grew up in this timeline, because we know, I think didn't we say it was like 20 years from when
I have no idea. Asking me last was trivia. I don't know.
Yeah, where his daughter dies to like this time, and so Ellie has always grown up in this time period, and there are pretty recent corpses in this arcade that she's looking at, unless that is also right after the aftermath, and that's not what it looks like anymore.
They
And
talk
she's
about
just
like
delusional.
Mortal Kombat, but it's
Yeah.
called The Turning.
Mhm. She's like, "Man, the kids back then were so fucking lucky." And then there's a yellow tent that is fully erected in the mall,
I'm gonna go
like
back,
staked in the ground.
Go back a little bit.
Okay.
When she has the moment where she sees all the dead kids in
Mhm.
the arcade, she says it's coming for you, but it's too late. But like, I don't understand. Why is she being spooky? She's definitely, when she saw the finger in the car,
Mhm.
imagined what
Yeah.
could have happened. And I feel like it's when your kid gets a little too imaginative and they are going through like a plot line in their head, and then they say something out loud that
Yeah.
sounds complete, but they were just going through like a whole storyline.
Because it's the cell that you see that has the 3 corpses on the ground, which were the kids that are running around. That makes me think that those corpses aren't actually there.
That she made them up?
That she sees them alive, and then they're coming for you too late, and now she sees them dead, but they're no longer there anymore. It's very weird.
Well, because they're not in there when they first walk into
They're
the
not.
arcade.
Yeah.
So she just imagines it alive, and then all of a sudden imagines all of them dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like a monster killed them or something? Is this an imaginative... I don't understand what Ellie is doing here.
Kind of psychosis she's in.
Yeah, is she having a moment? I don't know. How old is Ellie again?
They say like, what, you're 12, and she says, no, I'm 14. I think she's 14.
She's 14.
Yeah, so now there's a big yellow tent
Mm-hmm.
literally staked into the ground like you would see in like an army tent with it's got windows
Sticked
on
into
it.
the tile
Yeah.
of the mall.
And Riley says, "You in there, old man?" I do the old man voice.
Me? Stop yelling, I ain't deaf. It's Winston. That's
It's
my name.
Winston. He's the military, right?
I'm pretty sure. Is he military or is he a firefly?
I don't think he's a firefly.
Well, she smuggled him in booze.
Yeah, some scotch that he just downs from the bottle. That's gotta burn so bad. That she stole from their like principal dude. And she's brought other people to the mall, it sounds like. Winston's got a horse. They don't name the horse. Yeah, they don't name the horse. What's the horse's name? I don't know. I tried to look before, I didn't see it.
Ellie says that she smells nice.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Which, you've been around horses.
it depends on who you are. I think they can smell nice.
Yeah.
It
But
depends.
Riley says they don't smell good because of the pigs and stuff. That's what smells, not the horses. But horses definitely have a very
Horses
distinct...
have a distinct smell. They smell like ashwagandha root. Have you ever eaten that?
No.
It tastes like the smell of horse.
Oh,
I think that's what ashwagandha means, actually.
horse stink.
It's like the only thing that's stinky about them, obviously, is they're poopy everywhere.
Yeah, they sweat though too.
Yeah, but they smell kind of like just
And they
hay
get the hay,
and grass.
yeah. So Winston is going to walk.
It's like a little pony ride.
Yeah.
He's gonna
walk
the horse
Ellie around on the horse while Riley stays behind. Riley's going through his stuff.
Yeah, Riley wants to go through his stuff. She also is complaining about the system. She's like, I don't want to get a crappy job in the system, so I gotta find a way out of it. So while she's being carted around, Riley is finding, is it like a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, she gets the walkie-talkie. There is a loud boom, and that causes Winston to have to leave to go check in what the explosion was, because they can see it through the roof of the mall. That was all
the
glass.
fact that Winston had a walkie-talkie to the Fireflies means he's like also a Firefly.
Well, he says, I have to go find my unit. And the walkie-talkie, which she's like, wait, I got to figure out how to use this. I'm like, aren't you in a military thing that you know how to use it? Makes me think he's part of the military. And that they're looking for Fireflies.
Okay.
Because once she turns on the walkie-talkie, she's like, shut up for a second. I'm trying to figure this thing out. And she's turning dials on the walkie-talkie. And Ellie's like, oh my God. You used me as a distraction so you could steal that from him this whole time. So Ellie thought like they were being friends, and really Riley was using her as distraction. And then it says, explosion in the 12th sector, engaging enemies, 3 hostile groups, likely Firefly affiliations. That's what it made me think. That they were
okay.
Like I'm just going to call them military because I don't know
Yeah,
what else to call
that
them.
seems right. But
And
Riley seems to think this is her way out.
Yeah, she's looking for the Fireflies because she wants to join the Fireflies. Which Joel also, he's an independent contractor, but they do stuff for the Fireflies occasionally. But a lot of the Fireflies have other jobs, and they use, like, you would have to get another job anyways if you're there.
Yeah.
Anyways, this brings us to chapter 3. Some gnarly cover art. Riley is on top of this teenage girl with missing eye, and who's trying to attack Ellie.
That's the cover art. Ellie is going to run after Riley, who is going to go try to find the Fireflies that they are shooting at.
Ellie's trying to talk her out of it, but Riley's like, I'm in it to win it.
I mean, even Ellie's like, they don't know what, if we ran into the Fireflies, they're probably still going to shoot at us because they don't know.
Well, the word that they're spreading around is that they're terrorists and they just kill people. And where they do help people in the city, so they have a good reputation from the adults, but the kids are all at this military school told that they're terrorists.
So they see a bunch of Fireflies cornered by the military, and Riley also stole smoke grenades from Winston. So she uses the smoke grenades to kind of let the Fireflies retreat because they're getting destroyed right now. So, yep. And then, Ellie joins in too. Yeah. Ellie's like, you gotta help me fight for something in your life, you know? And she's like, screw it, yeah. So
yeah, they throw it. And they get away, and then they're like, they got away! They're on the roof. Yeah. We totally fucking did it! Yeah! And then the military turns around and shoots at them,
obviously.
Because they think they're Fireflies. And so they're jumping across rooftops, they climb down to the ground, they're hiding behind a dumpster. And then there is a shadowy figure coming from a door that's marked quarantine.
It's a clicker, and that's probably what the cover art was.
Just got the mushroom grown out of her eye.
Teen girl just takes out Riley. Riley hits her with a rock in the face, and Riley gets bit, and Ellie has to smack her on the back with a stick that she finds.
Yeah.
So now she's going after her, and Riley is trying her best to keep her away. And Ellie. My God, these guys have too similar of names. It's driving me insane. Yeah. She's fighting Ellie. Ellie is keeping her off. Riley comes in, stabs her.
She stakes her with a piece of wood through her neck, the back of the neck. And then they're checking each other out, like, I think you did it. I don't know how she didn't get me. And then we see that Riley's jacket is torn. She bit through the sleeves, but it doesn't look like that she actually bit her. So good for her.
No, that's good.
And then Ellie hugs her because she was like,
They
"I'm so
were
scared."
scared. And a bunch of the clickers come out now.
Yeah.
And they have to run away now.
Yeah, they're the fast ones. They're the first stage, I guess.
They're cornered. There's like they can only jump off a building at this point. But then the clickers get shot at by a group of
the fireflies. And then so this is the part that the first time I totally thought that he stabs Riley. Even though it says it looks like a knife going through her, but really it's like a stun gun. Or a stun baton is what it is.
Yeah, it looks like a stun baton.
So he stuns Riley and then he smacks Ellie in the face with it. And he's about to stun her too. And then we hear stop. Ellie. In the shadows, there is a woman. It is Marlene. And Ellie's like, who's you?
And Marlene's like, why are you even here? Yeah. And so bag them and tag them. We're putting the bag on their heads and we're taking them somewhere else.
And this brings us to chapter 4. And Ellie's on the ground with a bag coming off of her head already. So they did an awful job putting this bag on her head. And she's like listening to them talk. And
they're discussing what they're going to do next. Their orders are to stay put. But they're like...
Yeah, there's 3 guys arguing. They got caught where they were by the military, and so they weren't very prepared, and everyone's blaming everyone else.
Ellie finds some broken glass on the ground, and she's going to try to use it to, I guess, break her bindings because she's tied up. Yeah. But Marlene comes in.
And she has a knife, and she uses it to get Ellie out of... They, tied her hands and feet.
And then Ellie's like, what about my friend Riley? You should let her go too. And she's like, oh, okay. They do that, and Marlene gives Ellie an envelope, and she's like, open it when you get back.
Yep.
And Riley's like, we're not going back. I want to join the Fireflies.
And she's like, I have your wanted poster.
I'm such a fan.
Such a fan. I want to help restore this country, save its citizens. And then Marlene's like, you're going back to your pampered school, and I'm not wasting my time with this. Blam.
But then, some smugglers show up, and they're like, this is a smuggler's hole. You gotta pay the toll. And they're like, oh my god, it's the Fireflies. But then there's, a shootout with them, and the smuggler, kills one of the Fireflies.
Because the smuggler's like, we'll take your stuff. And the Firefly people are like, we'll give you some ration cards, but you're not taking our guns. And then he shoots one of the Fireflies, and then, of course, Marlene shoots and kills them.
And Ellie and Riley have to hide. And Ellie's like, there's a way out. We can run. Because since they're distracted. But Riley's like, no, I'm gonna go to try to shoot one of the other smugglers. She manages to do it.
Yeah, so she finds a gun on the ground. She picks it up.
The picture of Ellie with a brick being maybe. But she doesn't kill the guy, does she?
No, she shoots him, but then Marlene kills him.
Yeah, Marlene kills him.
Because they're wearing very similar outfits, and that comes up right here when Marlene attacks Riley. Because Riley says, second time we helped you today, just saying. And she grabs this girl by the throat, throws her on the ground. And is like, is this all a game to you? And of course, this Riley
just
girl's
because you dress like me doesn't make you like me. You've memorized some words on a piece of paper, and now you think you understand the Fireflies? You have no idea what we sacrifice for your people.
Riley's like, I know all about sacrifice.
You don't know shit.
I watched my dad turn and rip my mom's to shreds. I killed my own father.
Congratulations, you're just like every other survivor in this world. That's, I think, honestly, a little too harsh of Marlene.
Yeah.
Just let her join. Who cares?
Obviously you just lost a member.
Who freaking cares?
You're gonna need
Why are you
people.
You just don't want a 16-year-old?
She doesn't want Ellie to be part of the Fireflies, and this was the game. But in the game, Ellie knew Marlene, and this was the issue that I took with the show, because in the show, Marlene like kidnaps Ellie and then like puts her in the room with the infected. Like that was so messed up. And she's like, they didn't know each other, but in the game they knew each other. And I guess this is how they know each other, is that she finds out that her mom and Marlene were like good friends, and Marlene's been looking after her this whole time
by putting her in the military jail. It's the people they're fighting against,
Yeah.
because it's like cushy and nice. And I think so. I feel like Riley could have probably joined the Fireflies if Ellie just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So this was all a show
Yeah.
that Marlene put on to show Ellie why she shouldn't join the Fireflies, is what I'm feeling here.
Also, because she's like, congratulations, you're just like everyone else. And Riley's like, I believe in the Fireflies. She like throws her next to the corpse and is like, look at him. He believed. And he died. She's like, fine, I'll make you a Firefly right now. And of course, Ellie steps in.
So she's like, I'll maim you. Half of the Fireflies are crippled anyway.
Yeah.
And then Ellie is being like held back because obviously she's attacking her friend. She bites the guy in the finger and grabs his gun and is like, back up, everyone back up. And then like shoots at Marlene, misses, but shoots at Marlene. How do you know my name?
Yeah, because she's like, Ellie, take it easy, Ellie. Like, calm down, crazy girl.
No, this is crazy. Marlene's insane.
Yeah. Marlene is like one of my least favorite characters.
Calm down. Okay. Yeah. This was all just a showboat to show Ellie to like not.
Scared straight. Are you sure you want to join?
Oh, so stupid. This is why you have barely any members. Marlene.
Mm-hmm. That's why you get shot in the game like right away.
Marlene. She basically tells her what's in the letter she was going to give her, and it was a letter from her mom. She wrote it to you before she died.
She's like, you tried to run away 7 times. I'm stalking you.
But yeah, she's been stalking her. She's like, I know you've run away from the military schools. I know about your rap sheet. And it's because your mom asked me to watch over you. So I've been doing that to keep you safe. That's why I brought you to that cushy military school. So that way you could clean toilets forever.
Get beat up every day.
And then she's like, Ellie's like, Riley, what should I do?
And then Riley's all defeated now because, of course, she probably was like, "Oh, I'm this badass Firefly. They're gonna I'm so cool. They're gonna beg me to join them."
Yeah.
And then now that, don't meet your heroes, kids.
Don't meet your heroes. They'll only disappoint you. Ellie gives her gun up.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks what her mom's name is. Her mom's name is Anna. And then she says, when the time is right, I'll tell you about her, which
you do. Yeah,
stupid.
In Ellie's backpack in the game, you do have the letter, and she has the knife that Marlene gives her.
She gives her mom's knife.
Yeah, they're going back to the school, and she's like, I'm watching you, don't pull another stunt like this. And she's like, oh wait, take this pocket knife. Take the switchblade.
Don't let it get confiscated.
And they go back. Then like the graffiti in the background always says like, look for the light, that's the fireplace symbol. Riley's all bummed.
Riley's crying, and Ellie's like, let's just run away. Like, fuck everything. Let's just run away together. Mm-hmm. And Riley's like, that's just going to be a different way to die. So it doesn't matter. Let's go back to school.
Riley's bawling.
But it looks like she does open the letter, and read it.
She does, and they go home. They go back to the school, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Riley's like, I'll see you tomorrow, and that's how their friendship begins.
And then at the end, there's concept sketches.
So the letter that's on there, it just says Worth, because her hand's blocking it. So what you can see in the letter, which is also in blood, which they did on the show, they showed Ellie being born and why she's immune. So there's blood all around this letter, but it's like Worth living and fight. And then you see Anna, and then you see it looks like make me proud. And she holds the knife to her.
But the letter says in the
don't, but I could probably, because you can read it. Okay. Note from Mom. Thank you, Last of Us Wiki. Ellie, I'm going to share a secret with you. I'm not a big fan of kids, and I hate babies. What a great letter to write to your kid.
Delightful.
And
that's why you give it to her when you're older. ...
I'm staring at you and I'm still just awestruck. You're not even a day old, and holding you is the most incredible thing I've done in my life. And a little, this is directly from the game. That is about to get out a little, there's a bunch of like scribbled words in here, and it's folded, and the lighting is awful. So
Excuses.
like, a title that is about to, okay, good luck.
To say a title that is about to get out a little short. I'll look after Marlene. That's Marlene.
Mhm.
Marlene will look after you. There's no one in this world I trust more than her. When the time comes, she'll tell you about me. Don't give her too much of a hard time. Try not to be as stubborn as me. I'm not gonna lie. This is a pretty messed up world. It won't be easy. And then I just can't.
There's a second. Oh yeah, it's the
The-
bottom of the
the
page.
bottom
You
is
can't
like-
really see. It's all dark.
The thing you always have to remember is that life is worth living. Find your pursuit and fight for it. I see so much strength in you. I know you'll turn out to be the woman you're meant to be. Forever your loving mother, Anna. Make me proud, Ellie.
Yeah, so that was already in the game before this comic came out. And yeah, that's The Last of Us.
American dream. It's the American dream to become a Firefly, I guess. What's the American dream here? Do you think?
Survive.
Survive?
Meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes.
The American dream is never meeting my hero in real life.
They're always a disappointment.
Our next book is a request.
Yes.
Another request. It's Star Wars The Force Unleashed by Sheen Williams.
Sean Williams.
Sheen from... I keep saying Sheen like Jimmy Neutron, but it's Sean.
Sean. Could be Sheen.
Could be.
But it's also probably Sean.
Probably Sean. It's Sean Williams.
Wonder if he has any relation to John Williams.
Probably not. So yeah, we're going to read our requested...
Yeah.
And we're trying to read it before May the 4th.
Mhm.
So that was our goal. Hopefully we make it.
So yeah, April's book club, Star Wars The Force Unleashed. We may also jump into the game.
Yeah.
Because
we
I have
haven't
not
played
played it.
So we'll see you
If you
next
have
time.
any requests, go ahead and put it down below. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.